Hi, I'm Jeff Meyer, and this is the Home Cinema Guide channel, and you're watching Part 3B of my DIY calibration process. In Part 3B, I'll be discussing how to adjust sharpness in a flat panel. If you own a projector, you need to now stop this and go to Part 3A, which is the sharpness and focus adjustment, along with geometry adjustments for a projector. While watching this video, you need to be prepared to pause it at any time to make the adjustments on your display. You may also need to rewind it between the two patterns shown as needed to confirm that you have the best sharpness setting possible in your display. At this point, you'll want to turn the quality setting on YouTube to 1080p as shown. This is important because if you don't get the display set to 1080p from YouTube, you will not have the sharpest possible test pattern to make this adjustment. It will make it much more difficult to judge whether you have the sharpness setting set properly or not. At this point, you'll also want to turn off night mode and true tone in your iPhone or iPad so that the color performance of iPad or iPhone comes closer to that on the display. You'll also want to dim the room lighting such that it makes it easier for you to make these adjustments. The first pattern we'll be looking at is what I call the sharpness pattern. In this pattern, we have some black lines on a gray background. What you want to see here when things are right is the black lines should be completely black and the background should be gray, and the transition from gray to black should have no edginess to it at all. This only happens when things are perfect. You'll now at this point want to adjust your sharpness control to try to obtain this, to get the black line as dark as you can while maintaining a gray section next to it without a white line. The next test pattern we're going to look at is what I call the multiburst pattern. And in this pattern, we have a series of lines progressing from right to left, with the thinner lines on the right and the wider lines progressing towards the left. When things are perfect, each set of lines should be as bright as the ones next to it. In other words, the rightmost set of lines should be as bright as the leftmost set of lines shown. If this is not the case, you may not be getting the full resolution from your display possible. I would now try to adjust the sharpness in your display to try to get the rightmost set of lines as bright as those on the left. The lines on the left may end up being brighter than some of the other lines around it. You really want to progress, if you have some level of degradation, of a little dimmer on the right to brighter and brighter as you move to the left. You don't want to see anything on the right brighter than anything on the left. I would also now go back and look at the previous sharpness pattern and check it and see if you have too much edginess. You may need to go back and forth between these two to try to minimize the edginess while maintaining a reasonable level of brightness on the multiburst pattern itself. It may be appropriate to also have a little bit of personal preference in this area. Some people like it a little sharper than others. It makes it look a little clearer image at times. But if you get the sharpness too high, you're going to end up with a lot of blockiness to the image and a real edgy look that really is not what is intended. So if you can, try to have no edginess on the sharpness pattern while maintaining nice bright lines on the multiburst pattern itself. This finishes Part 3B. The next Part 4, I'll be looking at telling you how to adjust the color of white and the settings associated with that. And we'll be getting into really the more detailed adjustments of obtaining accurate color on your display. Hopefully you'll stick with us. Thanks. Bye.